Isn't that charming? A little balloon-powered boat for children to have in the bath. And it works so well too. I love this little putt-putt effect at the back where the water's bubbling out through a small hole. Great delight for children. So these are all ship and boat toys and novelties. And apart from that one, all the other ones are dry land toys, radio effects. Beautiful one. The first one for dry land, you drew this on your mantelpiece, I suppose. It's Richard Wetzel's company, who show at Nuremberg every year. He makes hundreds of these Matchbox toys, and each inside are little kits. Each one has got a little kit. This is a theatre, the first one he ever gave me back in the 80s. But the one I've got on display here is Noah's Ark. There's the instruction sheet. And all the animals, in a form like this, you have to bend them and get them to stand upright. But all the parts of the Ark are there as well. And we've got here on Noah's Ark, we've got Mr. and Mrs. Noah in the front of the Ark, and one elephant in the back. I don't know where the other one is. I think a crocodile's trying to come out, and all the others are waiting to get in. How on earth they get all these animals on that little boat, I don't know, on Noah's Ark. But that's Mr. and Mrs. Noah's problem, I guess. The more obvious toys would be little wind-ups, and this is, I think, a particularly favourite one of mine of the boat series. It's a charming little plastic wind-up man with a sunny smile and a sunny hat, and it's just superb the way he's performing his action. Simple little motor, one of those. It might even go in the water because it's got a nylon bush motor, so it wouldn't be affected by water, by rust. But lovely action, that one, though. Very, very sweet. Another plastic one, which is much more sophisticated, is made by Uwe Meffert from Hong Kong. It looks like a little South Pacific canoe. And the odd thing about this is when you set it clockwise, it rattles and turns back again. So you suddenly realise you're looking at one of those rattlebacks with an eccentric hull, which makes it work. This way, it's very happy to go round and round and round. This way, it almost immediately protests and reverses its motion, rattles first, and then rattles back. Superb little version of a very, very light, delicate rattleback. The German company Decor, who I see every year at Nuremberg, have made a wonderful little toy about 30, 40 years ago. They're little ships, little yachts with a good weight at the bottom, like a bit of ballast, and that keeps it upright. So when you make the whole sea rock, as it would in a storm, I suppose, the waves, the yachts both stay upright. This is meant for very small children. It's quite a large, chunky piece made of wood, and it's a typical wooden toy with a bit of ingenuity that we see at every year at Nuremberg. Some very nice ones, but this one was a particularly attractive one, and I had it for my collection. This is a Chinese wind-up toy. He does something very peculiar. I'll wind him up and let's see what happens to his motion. He's got a little wheel at the bottom, and he's going to go shooting around. Yes, what's happening here is he seems to be going forward, not backwards. When I row, and I try to row, I go the other way, towards my back. But he's going forwards. In the action of his, it's not quite here. He should be going the other way. I feel the motor's been put in the wrong way. But there we are. So that's from China. Then from Japan, we've got a wonderful piece here, which goes on one of my walls of my house. It's got little pieces here to suspend, and when you pull the string at the bottom, you wind it up, and the ship performs gently up and down on the waves. Wonderful piece. Goes on for a good 5 or 10 minutes too, when it's hanging on the wall. Very, very smart glass cabinets, and Ian Logan's company, who I used to meet back in the 80s, bought in a whole bunch of these. That was a very, very fine piece of work. He gave one to my dad all those years ago. And there's a couple of paper ones to show which are quirky. This is just a one-line cartoon. It's a complete inversion done by Omni magazine about 30 years ago of a man in the bottle, how they got there, I don't know, making a ship that's outside the bottle rather than the other way around. I haven't actually ever made a ship in a bottle, but I suppose I've got to try sometime. But this is a lovely quirky way of reversing the whole thing. Well, the other paper one is wonderful missing area paradox, or geometrical vanish, as I call it. If we set the two pieces up, we've got a nice line of yachts there. There's about 10 of them, I think. And you do the thing which you always do with these, which is to slide them round, slide them down, and then you'll find you've got one more yacht appears. You've now got 11 pieces, 11 yachts. And the solution becomes more obvious when you put them perhaps 2 or 3 stations down. You've got a situation where you've got about 15 or 16 yachts, but you can see at once that the bottom of the yachts haven't got keels, and the tops of the yachts have got a very foreshortened sail top. So it's best really to do the first 2 stations only. That's 10 yachts to 11 yachts. And then you say, where's the extra yacht come from? Where does it go to when it goes back again? Well, each piece is lending itself to create the extra piece, the extra figure of a yacht. Nice version of it. Then there's a delightful bath toy which I picked up in the late 90s in America, and it's it's our Titanic. What else could it be? A four-masted one. It did originally have a motor in the bottom, which I seem to have mislaid, but I never used it in the bath, to be honest. But there's a nice little touch. They have actually bothered to include an iceberg, inflatable. You put this piece in, and then you set it in the bath. The trouble with this is, over the years, these seams do give way. And what's happened here, we've got a small hole in it. So if you tried this in your bath, the Titanic wouldn't be affected. That's quite sound. But this one, unfortunately, would sink. So here's a bit of history revisionism, isn't it? That's one with history books. Iceberg sinks, and Titanic sails off oblivious. Wow, there's a turn up for the books.